smack bomb pee wet. Hey everyone. I can do nothing with it. Hello Trina, hello. Oh no! Hello Vid. Spader, my friend. We won't be taking no for an answer, shitlibs.
Sorry, that's in the Discord call, not in the video. I was listening to the video. Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
Oh God. I am good.
That's good.
I've just been extraordinarily busy with work, like to the point where. Like, I am staying late consistently just about every day. Today has been, like, my first break from that.
Oh.
So, I'm happy about that. You know, otherwise, I'm not doing too bad.
That's good.
Yeah. How are you, my friend?
Good! Other than the fact that the air quality index in my area has been dog shit today.
Hey, you know what? Blame Canada.
I'm not going to blame Canada.
Canada's on fire,
yeah,
so it's not your fault, it's Canada's fault. Yeah. God damn it, Quebec.
Nah, I hope everything's okay up there for you guys.
No, for real. For real, I hope Canada's okay. We don't want Canada burning to the ground. There's a lot of permafrost up there. It's very important to keep the methane down. We've been having, like, storms lately.
We're gonna get, like, a huge storm tomorrow, apparently.
Like, for the past month or two, we've been, like, just about every day, we've been getting these, like, really nice, like, lovely thunderstorms that last about half an hour. And then they move on, and then another one shows up, and then it's really nice, and it's just been, oh god, it's just been so gorgeous. The last, like, week or so, we haven't really had that. Today has been kind of off and on stormy, which has been really nice, but, yeah, for the most part, it's been, basically that.
Yeah, air quality index for the Dayton, Ohio area right now is 177.
God damn.
It's pretty bad.
I do want to bring to your attention something that happened. I don't know how recently this is, but this is this kind of just came into my my field of view today. Fall Out Boy did a new version of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire," in which they rhymed George Floyd with Metroid.
That seems a little...
The line is literally George Floyd, Burj Khalifa, Metroid.
Seems a little tone deaf.
Meghan Markle, George Floyd, Burj Khalifa, Metroid. That song makes no fucking sense. There's no chronological order to it. It's just random bullshit, pop culture, whatever, and also tragedies thrown in. They also have, in that song, Shinzo Abe Blown Away. Like, in the original song, JFK Blown Away, What Else Have I Got to Say? That was actually a thing. Shinzo Abe blown away, like, that didn't even happen a year ago.
Yeah.
That was July of last year, when Shinzo Abe was assassinated. And it didn't have near the cultural impact that JFK assassination did.
Not in America, certainly.
No, absolutely not. Even in Japan, people were like, eh, from what I understand. I need to put on some tunes. So yeah, that was my That was my pop culture. I'm suddenly like informed of this thing moment. Oh, my other favorite was YouTube killed MTV. SpongeBob Golden State Killer got caught. I don't know how the fuck that's supposed to work out.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Like, SpongeBob to the Golden State Killer. That's something.
So the Prime Vista Pro is the new. If you recall last time. What?
Yeah, just right on into it. I'm sorry. Just like that bullshit, and then it's just like, all right, moving on. Here we go.
Yeah, I would like to.
Fair.
We got the really cool new power washer. If you remember.
Yes, we've got the new equipment. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to clean things much more efficiently.
Yeah, we should be able to bust through a few of these today.
I'm currently downloading some bullshit.
Okay. You are
Excuse me.
connected, so.
Yeah, it's just downloading what it needs to.
Options.
I was playing with a friend last night, Power Wash Simulator, and I did notice in the background there was an active volcano.
Wow, you spoiled it for yourself. Damn.
Okay, no, this was literally like the first house that you get to. This is something that I didn't notice when we were playing.
I've been looking for it like every fucking outside mission we have, and I haven't seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
This was like, okay, you remember when we did the playground?
Uh-huh.
It was the house before that I saw it.
Maybe I just wasn't looking on that particular one.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Maybe.
But like I saw that and I was like, oh, it kind of makes sense as to why, you know, there's soot over everything.
That is the reason, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, why is this one house dirty as shit while the rest of the houses are fine?
Because the whole county is power washers, and we're actually the last humans that live in the area, so we have to finish up. We're the brave lads that have to go in and...
If they're all power washers, what happened?
Everyone died.
Oh.
Everyone's dead.
R.I.P.
Yeah. I forgot about the space laser.
Yeah, there's a laser here. That's kind of fun.
Looking for a new job. Currently.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're security guard right now.
Doing it for like 3 years. I need a change. I can't afford how I'm living right now. And I'm down to less than $100 in the bank currently, and it's really just not good. Like, I can't keep doing this every single week.
I will also say, like, right now, where I'm at, I am currently still paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, it sucks.
It fucking sucks, dude.
I envy people who can save money. Like,
Same.
so, Trina, if you're still here, you'll know the saga of this story. Recently, I made a TikTok of this. I was basically just replying to this one girl who said, "Oh, my family just built a huge house in California."
How?
And I was like, they're like, "It has an elevator. Oh my god, it's so pretty in here." And then
huff my entire farts.
My response was hard cut, music still playing, hard cut to my face just saying with the text that just says, "I haven't had food in my fridge for 2 weeks."
Oh God.
And so that was it. And I feel like it's a self-own, right? It's slightly sad. As Tyler, friend of the show, said, it's a bit of an oof joke, but it is a joke. It's just a joke. That's all it is. And it erupted into a fucking huge argument between some people who were like, it's fucked up that people have to go through this, and there are people in modern day who can just afford to buy like huge plots of land and then develop the fuck out of it.
Oh, trust me. In my line of work, there are a lot of people where, they come to me with a project and they want the geotech work done, and I'm just like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to help you out with your project, but inside I'm like, I hope you have a nice time. I hope you just have a nice time.
I hope you have a great day.
I hope you have a nice day. Because I'm not gonna, obviously I am, against the bourgeoisie, and anyone who can afford to buy a house at this point is like, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And why am I still renting? But at the same time, it's like, these people come to me with these, enormous home concepts. It's like 5,000 square feet of house.
I mean, a dink couple, I could imagine, putting a nice down payment on a house.
Sure.
But, because not that they're a dink couple, but my friend CJ and his wife and their 2 kids, they're renting a house right now.
Yeah.
And they have a wonderful home. Mm-hmm. It's just, I have lived in the same apartment for a few years, and I don't know, it's getting rough. I don't want to move in with someone else. I don't want to.
Yeah, no,
Other than my girlfriend, I might eventually move in with her, but other than that, I can't see myself living with anyone, and
No, I get you. At this point, if I were to... my rock bottom is considering finding a roommate.
That is, it's pretty down on my list of things that I wanted.
Pretty bleak.
My absolute lowest is moving back in with my parents, and I really
100%.
That's a death sentence as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, trust me, I have had the exact same thought where it's just like, if I move back in with my parents, I'm just going to be sad forever.
My parents told me they would only charge me $200 rent, and I'm like, oh, and I'm thinking of, there have been parts of times and stuff where I've thought legitimately thought about it, but I'd be giving up too much. I'd be giving up so much.
There's too much to give when you are used to living on your own and having that sort of freedom, and then suddenly it's like, I don't have that anymore. I have to move back in with my parents.
I mean, I'd be giving up streaming for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's just not something that I want to do. Parents trying to retire early, but you sacrifice all your privacy and independence. Yeah, exactly. My dad is retired, right? So if I moved back in with my parents, it'd just be basically me and him on my days off. And so, and my mom would be there a lot too, and I wouldn't be able to stay up as late as I do. I wouldn't be able to, do the things that I do. Mm-hmm. And I've at this point, I've gotten into a routine, and I'm a creature of habit for sure, and I like having a routine, and I like knowing what I have to do today or the next day.
That's right. Yeah. When you get into your habit and you get into your routine as an individual, living on your own, it is extraordinarily difficult to break that. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who have to rely on that.
It sucks.
And I have certainly had, that kind of nightmare where it's like, suddenly I can't afford to live on my own, and so now I have to move back in with my parents, back to Denver, and it's like, that just sounds like hell.
Yeah. I remember I lived with them for about a month. Back when CJ and I lived together, there was about a month there where the lease had run up and I couldn't find another place fast enough. Mm-hmm. So I had to live with them for a month, and basically I kept telling them, like, this is exceedingly temporary. Like, I had my mattress on the floor, I had my TV on the floor, I didn't bring in any major furniture, everything else was like at me and my dad's work. Like, I was just storing everything there. Mm-hmm. And I just said, like, I'm not gonna be here for very long. And then once I moved out, I was like, I could have stayed 3 more months and saved some money, and really, like, been pretty well off for a while.
Oh yeah.
But, like, to me,
like, the financial aspect of it is very appealing. Mm-hmm. You know, you want to live in a space that is reasonably priced and also isn't trying to screw you over. Mm-hmm. And living with your parents, you know, that's definitely that. It's exactly that. They're not going to charge you an exorbitant amount because they're your parents. They love you. And presumably. And, you know, if you're living there, obviously they want you to pay rent, they want you to help out around the house or something, and that's fine. That's not something that's you know, that's not something that's beyond the pale. And then as soon as you get out and you know, live in your own apartment, it's like suddenly I'm paying 3 times as much as I would have if I was living with my parents. It's like, damn, I really wish I had that money lying around.
Yeah.
So I get you. 100%. Like, if I could somehow make that work, where, you know, I suddenly have a savings again, I'd be okay with that. But I wouldn't be, because it's like, oh, now I have to live with my parents. Mm-hmm.
I've had this dream of, like, just renting, like, or like selling everything I own. Mm-hmm. Buying a really nice truck and just fucking traveling the country. Mm-hmm. Like, it's getting to the point where, like, that is a viable thing I could do, because I have a lot of shit I could sell. Like, I could get rid of everything and, like, genuinely just, like, go visit all my friends. Like, I would get my passport, go up to Canada for a while.
Come down to Utah.
Yeah, I'd go fucking everywhere. I would go visit everyone that I could, and then like come back and try to settle down again and basically start from scratch.
Yeah.
But, like, I have too much responsibility right now to do that, and if I went from the meager income I have with streaming and my day job to none, like, I would have to get enough money together from selling everything to, like, survive for, like, a month.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could do that.
I think my biggest concern in that sort of scenario is, like, what happens to my cat?
Luckily, I don't have any pets, so.
Yeah, like, I have my cat, Love. I love her so much. Like, do I take her with me, or is she left behind? And, like, I absolutely don't want to leave her behind. You could
get a big truck and put a little cat bed in there, and...
True.
Like, it's doable.
She's my baby.
Like, if I had a dog, I would take my dog with me. Like, I don't think a singular pet would...
A dog is 100% easier to travel with.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely want to do that at some point. I just need, like... There's so many jobs around me that are like... work in, like, this plant and do the same thing every single day, multiple times a day for years, and save up some money, and I don't want to do that.
No, and some people are definitely okay with that, where it's like, they're making money, who cares? But at the same time, it's
I
like,
don't. My parents have been saying that for a long time, where it's like sometimes you
you're
just need to like bite the bullet and do something that you don't want to do, and make while you're making
no,
money. And
I
I'm not.
disagree.
I am not wired like that. I am
No,
not. I am not. I am not physically capable of making myself do that. I can't.
yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, I don't believe that need, capital N need to sacrifice your individuality, your personality, your interests in order to make money. I mean, obviously, I'm probably in some sort of wrong where in today's society, you need to be on that, Sigma grind set 100% of the time. You need to be making money. But I really don't think that you need to. There needs to be a work-life balance, and I believe that 100%. I do not believe that should be sacrificed
Like
for whatever it is you're doing.
basically, right now, I'm trying to get like a transcribing job.
Mm-hmm.
Because transcribing jobs, basically, you could just put in headphones and just work
Yeah.
for 8 hours, and you're just on a computer and you're just typing. You're like watching videos or listening to like audio recordings and transcribing what's going on.
I will say, it is a little bit more complicated than that.
I am giving a very basic overview
Yes,
of what it would
because Jen's mom did medical coding, transcribing.
Medical coding
for
is a different thing.
For a long time. It is very different.
I'm talking like county records.
Right. It is very different, but at the same time, it's still that thing of like you have to be attentive.
Yeah.
And you have to be listening, and you have to be, you have to really put in the work to make it, worth it.
I'm aware.
But
that's the job I'm trying to get right now.
anyway,
And I think I'd really like that a lot. I'm looking for a job where I could just kind of be by myself. Because I know, like, there are a lot of people who really want to be around people. Like, there are people who that's what they look for. Me, I'm the exact opposite. Like, I'm looking for something where I can just kind of be left to my own devices, because that's when I work best.
yeah,
Is when I'm kind of left alone. I definitely work most efficiently when I don't have any distractions or any people around.
mm-hmm.
And I think that because I'm not like bad in social situations.
Sure.
It's just that I prefer to kind of keep to myself, because I just don't want to have to like think about what I'm gonna say in a conversation when I'm trying to work.
I, on the other hand, have had to like fully immerse myself in, okay, now I have to talk to a client. I have to take this call from a client. It's like, oh, I have to really like switch my brain into client talk mode, and it sucks.
Yeah.
I genuinely, like, whenever I see my phone light up at work, my desk phone, not necessarily my cell phone, but like my desk phone at work, whenever I see that light up, I'm just like, oh god damn it, stop. I don't want to deal with this.
I used to hate talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Like I really used to like hate it a lot.
I still definitely
Smart
kind of
phone
hate it,
POS.
but I've gotten much more used to it over the years.
Yeah, I don't typically mind it anymore. It's whatever. It's a necessary part of life. If I'm on a Discord call with somebody who I've never spoken to before, that's nerve-wracking to me, because that's like personal life stuff, and I'm not like the best at just striking up conversation with somebody I don't fucking know. But I don't know. So social situations are not exactly my strong suit, but like I can handle myself at the very least.
like I've definitely gotten to a point where, I can talk to clients very well, and I can actually like answer their questions. But at the same time, I dread it all the same.
What the fuck is an elevator?
It's these up here.
Okay, one of those isn't clean. Oh, I see it. I see. There we go. Fuselage sensor. I know the fuselage is the big part.
That's the big tube.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, I really need to get out of this job before summer ends. Like, I don't think I can do another year of this. Like, I'm really struggling. Today was the first day in a while where I came home and just buried my head in my bed. Like, I was just... It's really, really not okay right now. What the fuck is a fuselage sensor?
It's these little guys at the end of the. It's just those little nodes. I do like the anti-grav boosters on there. It's like, oh, what are we doing here?
Super future.
Damn, I wish we were in the liberal super future. Finally, Jesus.
These little nobules. Fuselage sensor. Still looking for that shit.
Oh, they're up top.
Ew.
Well, these ones are. There's that wiring. There's two more of those. There's one. Uno. Y dos.
There's a ladder on the other side, bud.
I know. I was just seeing if that would work.
It kind of does, but not really.
Kinda. Even the ladder, like, works when it wants to.
It used to be a lot worse than it is.
Oh, what did they?
It was slippery. Like, you could just fall right off it. But now, when you're on it, you're locked to it.
That's good. Fuselage sensors. Fuselage wiring.
Hydraulic pipes.
Hydraulic beepus. Which goddamn one is it?
I don't even know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I don't even know. Oh, it just says hydraulic pipes.
Yeah.
I thought it said hydraulic press.
No.
Welcome to the hydraulic press channel. Today we are going to crash it. This aeroplane.
My favorite part of those videos is that the dude is always very surprised that something explodes.
Oh, it exploded!
Oh shit!
Today we are going to crash it. These ball bearings. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's always that. Holy shit, they exploded!
It pops and he's like, holy shit, they exploded. Yeah, yes, so you see now they have exploded. Here is the shrapnel. It's very good that we had the blast glass, the bulletproof
He
glass.
says that like every single episode.
It's very good that we had the safety.
I'm still fucking having trouble finding these fuselage sensors.
Me too.
Like, what the fuck?
So
I don't even know what they look like. I don't...
Hello, I am from Finland.
Is he really?
Yeah, it's finished. That's what he is. Oh. Have you ever seen? He's got the hydraulic press channel, but excuse me, the hydraulic press channel. He's also got the second channel, which is behind the press.
I've never seen that.
It's very good. They do all kinds of weird shit. Cause like his workshop is on a lake.
Oh, that's cool.
And they do all kinds of fun stuff with like ice. And they could just do shit because they've got the space for it. It's very fun. It's back when I was much more into that channel. I had a lot of fun watching those videos.
So, have you seen... I have a question for you. Have you seen, the guy that did the 1-2 buckle my shoe video? I know, I'm like throwing like kind of modern memes at you.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, so it's this kid, I'll describe it as best I can. So it's this kid out in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? And he's like, Hey bro, come check this out, bro. I got that. And it pans down to his shoes, and and he has like a fake little like printed like paper buckle. And he goes 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, buckle some more, 5, 6, Nike kicks. And then it zooms back out to him. He goes, "Oh, that was so fire."
What the fuck?
I can send it to you. I think it's really funny. I think it's one of the funniest like videos to come out of TikTok in a while. But so I saw recently that he's like, "Yo, me and Mr. Beast got that 1, 2," and it's him and Mr. Beast. I'm like, what in the fuck? Wait here, let me. Oh, you know what? I'll play it on stream. Hold on.
All right, I'll pause my tunes.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Who'd have guessed? It's in my recent searches. Okay.
Bro, come over here, come over.
They don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna put my desktop here. Okay, here we go. Here it is.
Let me see that shit.
There's a brand new
1, 2.
Let me see that shit.
3, 4.
Let me. I didn't stream it to you. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, you're good. Yeah, Jason, I agree. When they have shaped charges, it's very good.
Let me start again here.
Hydraulic press channel.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bro, come over here, come over here. Check out my new shoes. There's a brand new
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, buckle some more. 5, 6, Nike kicks.
Ooh, that is so fire! Bro, come over here, come over here.
with the fucking like pioneer ass buckles.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good.
But yeah,
The kids these days know comedy. Maybe I don't know.
I think we're relearning comedy finally.
I think every like 10 years, it just kind of gets recycled, and nobody knows what's going on, and then shit just kind of happens, like TikTok or whatever.
I still don't know what a fuselage sensor even looks like.
I don't know. I'm looking for the scoop. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not a plane person. Planes are very cool. Do not at me when it comes to like the structure of a plane. I will say that confidently because you cannot at me. I am not on social media.
Damn it. Let's see if I can, like, propel myself 45,000 feet in the air. Damn it. You son of a bitch.
Sorry. Fuck. I'm trying to find the goddamn tail scoop.
Okay, fuselage. The fuselage is a big tube.
Uh-huh, it's the big tube. It's the main body of the aeroplane. Woo. Excuse me.
God, fuck. There we go.
Here it is.
Yes!
Where's the bump? Now, where's the goddamn tail scoop?
That'd be like this up here.
I assumed.
This vertical stabilizer. Oh.
Oh, fuck. That's it?
It's on this side here.
It's specifically on the starboard side of the plane.
Oh!
Look at that, son of a bitch.
Woo! Done.
Woo!
Fuck the plane.
Fuck airplanes.
I would fuck a plane.
Would you?
Yeah.
I don't think you would.
You doubt me?
Ugh, it's very hard. Made of metal.
Oh, the frolic boat!
What?
We're gonna clean a boat now.
Great. Boat. Oh, I gotta turn my music on. Hang on.
What's going on in Muckingham? I don't know, lady. What is this called?
Boat.
The Magnificus. Hey, it's Harper. What on earth is going on in Muckingham? I just read an article that said the town with no cats. Are there seriously no cats left? There is this, if you guys, going back to hydraulic press just for a second, there is a video, guys, of a Russian dude in the middle of the middle of like this of Siberia, and he has an AKM and an AK-47, and he fires both of them until they fucking melt. He puts like 500 rounds through both of them or something to test the integrity. And it's one of my favorite videos that CJ's ever shown me. So basically, I think it's actually he's just testing the AKM because it had just come out, and they've just been deployed, I guess is the better term. So he's testing like how many rounds you could put through it before it really like has catastrophic failures and stuff like that, and he puts like 500 rounds through this thing. And like the guard for your hand, the grip for your hand, it like catches fire and shit because
God.
the barrel is so hot. Because you're not supposed to shoot it that much all at once.
No.
He's like, this is getting really hot, and it catches fire and shit.
Oh shit, suka, блядь.
And eventually he's like, well, it outperformed what I thought it was going to. I'm like, what? Really? It's cool. That's a good video.
500 rounds like consistently fired from the same gun, just like over and over and over and over. That is relatively impressive.
Yeah, basically he just had a table of AK magazines, and he just kept going to them and like putting them down range. It's crazy.
That's honestly impressive.
It's really cool. It's a good video. I've officially like started watching wavy web surf again.
Yeah.
Just it's weird, but you know, I like watching like videos about weird people from the internet. You know, just like fascinating people that have come out of.
The internet is a very strange place, and it has produced some very strange people.
Yeah.
And researching those kinds of people is really something in itself.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I don't want to like do it myself, but if I could get like a concise like video.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's nice.
If someone like details, you know, the life of some internet personality from the mid-aughts and can do it in a concise manner that is easily digestible, I'm in. I want to see that. I want to see all of the weirdness of the internet. I do not need to see the like 50 episode extravaganza on Chris Chan. I do not need to see that.
It's a
weird.
lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
It is a lot. It is fucking weird. She is a criminal, and I really hope that she is put away for good.
That's the dream.
That's it.
Honestly.
And that's it. That's all I've got to say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Moving on from Christian. I was kind of trying to tiptoe around that.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So how about those Red Letter Media guys?
How about them Yankees? Am I right?
How about them not knowing nothing about metal?
Did
you watch that video?
I don't. I don't watch a lot of YouTube.
Oh. The Mike and Rich are sitting on the review set, and Mike has a list of like metal band names. He's just reading them off, and it's really funny because like it genuinely just feels like your dad looking at like a fucking metal show, like list of bands that were gonna be at the metal show. He's just reading them off and chuckling to himself while he sips a big can of beer. It's really funny to me.
That's fun.
It was definitely like a old man yells at cloud moment.
I have a question. And maybe it's related, maybe it's not. But like, what is like an album that you have consistently come back to? Like something that maybe you were into it a long time ago and you keep on just like revisiting it every now and then, every couple of months, or every couple of times a year, or maybe it's just something that you found in the last couple of years that you're like, damn, I need to just keep listening to this album, something like that. What is like an album or song or artist that you are just like constantly going back to?
That's a really good question, actually. I could say one of the big ones is Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. It's a major departure from like his earlier stuff. It's really where Tyler became something other than just like kind of a generic rapper, at least in my eyes. He puts a lot of like, you could tell there's a lot of emotion behind a lot of it, and it's really fascinating. There's also if we're going with something a little bit newer, there's Rom-Com by Jakey, which just came out I think earlier this year. I find myself still just like putting it on and listening through the whole thing while I'm doing something. Maybe not the best example, but I do have one that I've come back to over the past 10 years, like at least a few times a year. And that is the Steve Burns album, Song for Dust Mites. Steve Burns, of course, is the Steve behind Blue's Clues. He with the help of the Flaming Lips, because he was friends with the frontman.
Which rules.
Yeah.
That's why he left Blue's Clues, was he was balding and he wanted to go be a rock star.
And so him and the Flaming Lips produced a full-length album that is very, very good. It's with music for me, and I know this is for a lot of people as well, it's very like, depending on when you heard it in your life, there can be a lot of emotion behind it.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
For me, it was a transitory part of my life where I wasn't really sure what was coming next. It was like right after high school, before I moved out of my parents' house, I really discovered that album for the first time. I wasn't sure about myself. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I might have heard it for the first time in high school. I can't really recall. But a Song for something Connecticut is like, I can't remember what the actual song is called, but one of the songs is like really, really important to me, because I would just like listen to it in my room, and I wish I could play it on stream. I really do, but it's like really, it's just very powerful for me. Like the whole album's very good. And then if I had to pick another one, D-Loused in the Comatorium by the Mars Volta. That is my second favorite album of all time. It's something that I come back to very, very often. Music's an incredibly important part of my life, and
absolutely.
It's hard to just pick one, because music has just kind of always been something that I fall back on when I just need I need something to like.
You need something to hold on to.
Yeah, I need something to like get rid of the just nothing that I'm hearing, like just the white noise, the because I kind of have tinnitus a little bit. Where it's just like the sound of silence, you know, where it's just like that kind of just white noise sound. I hate that. So whenever I just put music on and like listen to full-length albums and stuff. And
definitely.
Oh, and Because of the Internet by Childish Gambino, but that's the album that got me into rap. So
yeah.
Anyway, what album would you say is yours, Spader?
There's a couple. The first one that comes to mind is Once by Nightwish. It was probably like my gateway into metal entirely. Like, I'm a metalhead.
Yeah.
There are a lot of subgenres that I could name that I love in metal, because I started off I started off with Rob Zombie's like Greatest Hits album, and then I moved into Nightwish, and Once like propelled me into metal in general. So that is really significant to me. Transatlanticism by Death Cab is another one.
That's a good album.
Where like I keep going back to that album because like the songs are very good, and it also like the time that I discovered it, really like that Transatlanticism came before what was the album? The one that came
big one?
after. Yeah, the one that came after was the one with it's
been so long since I've
where,
listened to
where
that,
Soul
yeah.
Meets Body.
Yeah, that one.
Brother,
Well, I
and
cannot-
Brothers on a Hotel Bed,
I can't
and
remember
there's a
what that
couple of
album
others on
is.
that one that are the big hits.
Mm-hmm.
But Transatlanticism really hit me in a spot where like Jen and I had just kind of like started dating, and the long distance thing was very like front and center in my mind. And Transatlanticism
that's tough stuff, yeah.
Transatlanticism is very much an album about that, about that sort of relationship, that long distance. I mean, the song itself is literally like they're on two different coasts, and the Atlantic is filling up between them, and suddenly there's this distance. So there's very much that aspect of it. And that it's also just a really good album. It's a great track. It's a lot of great tracks. I keep going back to Linkin Park's Meteora. I don't care what anyone says. Linkin Park is good.
It's that post new metal.
It's still nu metal in a lot of ways, but it's still they do a lot with it that's very different.
Having Mike Shinoda on, I think, gives them their own voice, which is nice.
I would say so. I don't think Mike Shinoda is a good rapper.
No, but he definitely adds.
I listened to
what was
him
what was his other band?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like they had that single "Where'd You Go? I Miss You So." Feels
And
like it's been forever
remember the
since you've been
name?
gone. Yeah.
Fort Minor.
Fort Minor, that's the one. Mike Shinoda is good, but he is not a good rapper.
I would not call him a good rapper, no. After spending most of my music listening time listening to good rappers, he is not one.
He is not. But I like what he does in Linkin Park. Whenever I listen to Meteora, I like. Obviously, I'm thinking the whole time like, oh, Mike Shinoda is not that good, but I really like this album. Reanimation is perennial. It is fucking great. Linkin Park's Reanimation. It's all these remixes of Hybrid Theory. It's so good. Those are like the three that come to mind immediately. There are definitely more that I keep going back to. Like one that I discovered 2 years ago was a band called Purity Ring. And their album, Womb, it's so good. They describe themselves as like future pop. And Womb is just such a good album. The beats are perfect. The ethereal vocalism is really nice. And some of the lyrical themes, like one of their songs, Pink Lightning, is probably my favorite. Almanac from that album is very trippy in a way, but it's like, oh, it's still relatable in a way, you know? So that's definitely something I keep going back to. American Idiot, of course. I don't care what anyone says, American Idiot is my favorite Green Day album.
Not a huge Green Day fan in general.
You know, that's fair. I will also say, I will fully acknowledge that that American Idiot has its bad parts. They drop the R slur quite a few times. They drop the F slur, and it's not great. But at the same time, I still really like the album.
What was their album before that?
I could not tell you, because I genuinely could not tell you, because I did not get into Green Day until that album, and even then, that's like where my understanding of Green Day begins and ends.
fucking.
I
It's
remember
like Turd or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I remember they came out with
Dookie.
an album.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Dookie. That's right.
That's
they
the one
came
guy.
out with an album after. I mean, obviously they're still making shit.
Yeah.
But they came out with an album after American Idiot, and I just could not get into it. I did not care for it.
It also matters like when it hits, you know.
Yes,
it's very.
it really
That's
does.
very very important.
Like when that album hit, I was like at the end of high school, and when American Idiot hit, I was in freshman year of high school, and so that definitely influenced things, you know.
Yeah.
So those are like it's a lot of like mid early aught stuff, except for Purity Ring, which was released in 2020. I think. Anyway, I highly recommend that album, Womb by Purity Ring. I saw them live actually last year. I went and saw them at a show. Their opening act sucked shit, but Purity Ring's act itself, oh my god, it was so cool. They had like in the background, like the screen in the background was playing. It was like they had a camera on the lead singer, and it was like doing all these weird like smoky effects, and just like really cool, like almost line art sort of stuff. It was very cool. It was such a good show.
Are there any albums that when it was described to you, you thought you would hate it, but then you listened to it and it was like something that really stuck with you?
That is an excellent question.
If you need time to think, I have one.
Yeah, I definitely can't think of one off the top of my head.
Okay. So a while back, I may have mentioned this. I was doing instead of a book club, it was an album club.
Okay.
And every week, someone would pick an album, and we would all listen to it and then give a review.
Okay.
And then like have a discussion on the album itself. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. I got to listen to a lot of different music that I wouldn't normally put on.
I will share with you the album, by the way.
Okay. And there were two that really, really stuck with me. Tyler Chalmers? Is that the dude's name?
AKA
Tyler Childers, sorry. He's an old like country singer, and he's a young guy, but he sings in like an old style. And it's really cool. it's live performance at something, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really good album. But there's a person that I had never fucking heard of before, Amigo the Devil. And,
I know of them.
I listened to the album Born Against, which I still like. I thought I was like I don't know if I'm vibing with this, and it got to like partway through, and I was like whoa, and I really like it. Murder at the Bingo Hall specifically is like one of my favorite songs by him, and it's so funny because it's basically just him talking about how he's like taking this bingo hall for all their money, and like he's like, I'm just so good, like someone should call the cops because I'm killing it. Like, that's one of the lyrics. It's so fucking funny.
That's fun.
It's like he describes like he walks in, he's like, what? I'm looking for the big threat. Like, everyone's looking at me. Is it me? But yeah, Born Against by Amigo the Devil is a very, very good album.
Okay.
What are we looking for here?
Let me see.
The fuck is a cleat?
You wear it on shoes.
But like on a boat, silly.
Oh! I don't know. When it comes to music, I tend to be fairly easy. Like, if someone is really into something, music-wise, I'm relatively open to, like, oh, maybe I would like this too, because I like my friends. So, stuff like, oh, what am I thinking of? I know exactly the band I'm thinking of, but the name of it is not coming to mind for some reason. It's the album I'm thinking of in particular is a Christmas album. But they are there it is. The Oh Hellos is a good one. They are like a folk kind of band. It's a brother and sister duo. Their Christmas album is like phenomenal. It is the Christmas album that I go to first when the season hits. It is a mixture of different, it is religious hymns. It is those types of hymns, but it is mixed in such a way that makes such an amazing mix of those songs. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. It's a mix of those songs where it's one after the other and bits and pieces of each other just like slapped together in such a way that it makes so much sense, and it's very good. But their other stuff is very good too. Let's see.
There is a Christmas song that I just discovered this past year. But it is going to be my go-to for when the season truly kicks off from here on out. It's called. Hold on.
I did think of another one.
It's called "Christmas Pain in Christmas Town" by Chowder Man.
Okay.
Have you played Hypnospace Outlaw?
I have not played it, but I have watched enough of it to know the vibe and what it's about.
So the great internet artist, Hot Dad, portrays a character by the name of Chowder Man throughout all of Hypnospace Outlaw.
Okay.
And it is so, like, he does like a full-length album worth of songs.
That's cool.
And Christmas Pain in Christmas Town, you get to unlock like a music video for it throughout the game. What the fuck is a cleat on a boat?
I genuinely don't know. I'm looking.
Alexa, what is a cleat on a boat?
Oh, I found it.
Oh, it's to attach a rope to.
Yeah, it's this.
Oh.
Got it. Wow! Thank you!
Thank you!
I thought of an album. By the way. This is one that a former friend recommended to me back in, like, college. And he is one of the reasons why I got so much further into metal. The band is The Birthday Massacre.
Oh, yeah.
And the album is Pins and Needles.
Okay.
And I love that album. I keep going back to it every now and then. Just like, this is something that I want to listen to. Like, it is like goth rock, slightly metal, It is very much like there's one song. There was the last song on the album called Secret. It's very melodramatic in itself. But the moment that solidified the melodrama for me was I was in college and I had my earbuds in and I was listening to this album and that song started, and the moment it started like pouring rain, and like the vibe of that song was perfect for pouring rain, and I was probably sad at the time, and it was just like, oh, I get it. Like, I wasn't super into them at first when he showed me that album, but then later on it's just like, okay, yeah, this is definitely something that's very good.
Okay, I got one. I got another one here.
All right.
Childish Gambino is the artist that got me into rap. Donald Glover himself, very good actor too.
Good guy.
So he released an album called "Awaken My Love" that was a major fucking departure. So we have like Camp, which is his EP, which is like rap. It is distinctly rap. And then Because of the Internet, which is more rap, but then there's some soul mixed into it, and that's great. And then there is the Kawaii EP, which is more leaning into soul and like gospel.
Uh-huh.
And then Awaken My Love is a major departure from rap. And at first my friends didn't fucking dig it, but I kept listening to it and kept listening to it, and I was like, this is just good. Like I don't see, and I think they were mainly upset because of the genre switch. But like once you really listen to it, it's like there's elements of rap in there, and like it's. I recommend anyone who I just recommend anyone to listen to it. At least give it a shot. Like it's a very good album. It's just good. I don't really have much to say about it other than that it's very very good. Definitely my number one album that year. That's all I gotta say. I put at least one song from that on just about every single playlist that I make. And
nice.
yeah, me and my girlfriend were talking about like creative endeavors recently, and I was like, the only thing that I can really create is like music playlists. I know what songs go really well together to like create a certain kind of vibe. And she's like, that in itself is a very like difficult thing to accomplish, like for most people.
Yeah, the mixing of tracks is something that is not something that people should take for granted.
And so like, she's like, could you give me an example? I was like, okay, I'll send you one of like when I was like super fucking horribly depressed, and like I sent it to her. She's like, wow, like a lot of emotion comes out of this. I'm like, I didn't really think about it like that until fairly recently, like how it really does, because like every single playlist I make, CJ's always like, yeah, I just have this on constantly. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I just really like it. I always like the stuff that you put together. I'm like, what? It's just so nice. It's so weird to like be praised for something that I didn't really think I was like particularly good at, but apparently I'm pretty decent at it. So like
cool.
I'm going on a trip like in July. And they had me do the playlist, and I was like, all right, I'll work on it.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of, I need to work on that, but I'm aiming for like 100 songs, and I think I'm at like 80 something.
Yeah, most of my I would say that most of the music that I discover these days comes from the Spotify Discover feature, which a lot of times that misses. There's a lot that particular function gets wrong, and it feels very much like your grandma heard you like X once, and so that's like all that she gets you, and it's very sweet, but at the same time it's like, grandma, like, listen. But with Spotify Discovery, it's, for me, like, whenever I go into that particular playlist, it's like, oh, you want to hear a lot of video game soundtracks and video game remixes that you've never played before? And it's like, no, I don't. So I just automatically hide those. But then, like, lately it's actually been giving me some pretty good shit.
Yeah, you just need to work at it.
Oh yeah.
I don't use Spotify
You've got
anymore,
to work the algorithm. You've got to you've got to take the algorithm by the horns and just wrestle it into submission. And in my case, that means saying do not play this again to literally every soundtrack or video game remix that I come across, because it's like I can only listen to one remix of Bloody Tears before I'm like, okay, I'm done with this.
I feel you.
It's always Bloody Tears. Like, it's a good song, but like, come up with something, do something else. Come on. I don't need to hear the umpteenth remix of Song of Storms. I've heard a million of them.
For a really long time, before I stopped using Spotify, I kept getting, like, fucking JoJo's opening themes.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, or it's like, it gave me, like, Season 5 JoJo's, like, theme, like, Golden Wind, and I was like, well, I haven't even fucking watched this. Like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, I'll get soundtracks to games I've never even heard of, let alone played. And it's like, I'm sure this is a fine game, but, like, I have zero interest in the soundtrack simply because I've never played this. And I have no context for whatever this music is.
I've been doing a lot of, I may have mentioned this last time, I've been doing a lot of, like, Wind Waker randomizers.
Yep.
And I'm almost done with the one that I'm working on right now. I'm playing as Cloud, and I didn't start with a shield or a sword, and I made it so that all keys and compasses and maps are also randomized, so they could be anywhere.
Oh, good.
And so, like, you get partway through a dungeon and you don't have a fucking key, and it's not anywhere in the fucking chest that you just looked through, and so you have to leave, come back, it's in another separate fucking dungeon that you can full clear, and so you may as well full clear that, and then go back and finish that. Listen, the fucking Wind Temple is the absolute fucking worst part of that game. And so I get most of the way through that, and then I don't have a second key, so I have to come back later.
Oh, jeez.
Like,
Speaking of Zelda, I recently rolled credits on Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, 1 through 10, what would you give it?
8.
That's pretty high.
I would give it an 8 out of 10, and my only real gripes with it have to do with the Switch itself.
I mean, yeah.
The Switch, we need either a hardware update or just a brand new console at this point.
We need a fucking sit-down console again, guys.
We do. And I am all for, like, Nintendo going for handheld. You know, if we want a new handheld console, let's fucking do it. I'm here for it. But the Switch is showing its age. As I'm playing through Tears of the Kingdom, there's a lot of frame drops. There's a little bit of lag. The loading times are not great. The story itself, phenomenal. The game, beautiful. Like, the environmentals in Tears of the Kingdom are what Pokemon should be striving for, and yet they don't. And
Is it that they don't or they can't?
it's probably a combination of both, because they are so pressed to put out a new generation every 2 years at this point. And that is largely because the Pokemon Company is so gung-ho on making sure that their releases coincide with the anime that it just sucks. Like, the Pokemon games could be a million times better. And I know it's probably hack at this point to compare other games to, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but when you see what those games can do on the Switch, and you see, like, what Pokemon Scarlet Violet is trying to do, you see what Sword and Shield tried to do. And a lot of that is inspired by what Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom could do. And it's like, that should be the standard for those games.
To be devil's advocate for a minute, I don't think it's necessarily, like, fair because it's two different dev teams for one.
Oh, 100%. It absolutely is.
And Sakurai, I remember him going on record and saying that sometimes, like, different dev teams in Nintendo just don't talk to each other. Like, sometimes they will not give up anything to other dev teams.
Right.
And so, like, maybe the Pokemon Company can't properly utilize, like, the Switch's hardware in the way that it wants to make something like as impressive as Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, right? Maybe they're incapable of quite wrangling it in the right way.
The problem with the Pokemon Company is that they have set this limit where they only have 2 years to come out with a brand new, fully realized game.
Is that them or is that Nintendo?
That is entirely Nintendo.
Well, there you go.
It is Nintendo and it is the Pokemon Company. It's kind of both, where you've got the Pokemon Company has to... they feel like they have to conform to this release schedule of, like, every 2 years a brand new Pokemon game. Can you imagine if we had that same kind of timeline for a Legend of Zelda game? We would be sick of them.
I mean, yeah.
And, I mean, you can clearly see that in Pokemon Scarlet Violet and even in Sword and Shield, they want to do what Breath of the Wild did with their open world. And they fail to do it because they don't have the time to put into that, because they've put these arbitrary limits on what they need to do and what they feel like they need to release.
Did you read that they have a 2-year, like, cycle and they're self-implementing that, or?
It's not necessarily that I read that they did that. It's that that's what the pattern has been. So, like, Sword and Shield came out, and then literally 2 years later, we have Scarlet Violet. 2 years before Sword and Shield, we had Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. The year before Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, we had Sun Moon. 2 years before that, we had Oris. A year before Oris, we had not XY. No, it was XY at that point. The release schedule is so tight on Pokemon games that they're limiting themselves in what they can do and what they should be doing. And that is based entirely on their release schedule and the clear, very clear influences from Breath of the Wild in their open world ambitions, I'll say. Where the hell's the rest of this shit? There it is. So I feel like if Pokemon had 5 years to complete whatever their next game, Gen 10. If they had 5 years to do Gen 10, we would have the greatest Pokemon game to date.
They are just. I just looked at the timeline. It is quite shitting them out.
The timeline is fucking bonkers.
Cause like, Red and Green came out in 1996, and then Gold and Silver came out in 1999.
Yep. Like back then, it kind of made sense
because it's smaller. It's smaller scale.
Exactly.
And
the scale of those games is a lot. I mean, granted, you've got 2 regions in Gold and Silver, but the scale of those games is so much narrower than what we get with Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet, even Sun Moon.
It looks like they were on a 4-year cycle for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then X and Y was 3. And then Sun and Moon was 3. And then Sword and Shield was 3 after that. I'm not counting, like, mid stuff, because you could debate that that's probably a different, like, dev team inside of Pokemon
without knowing exactly who was involved with that, it's hard to say what the dev
I can only imagine, and this is assumption on my part, to be for full clarity. I can only imagine their A team are on mainline games. Mm-hmm. So, because that's how I would do it. So Sword and Shield, 3 years later, Scarlet and Violet. And then in between those, I imagine the A team was probably working on the DLC as well. Mm-hmm. And then it's Arceus, so and then short. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I imagine, was either outsourced or a different dev team.
Yeah.
Their A team is getting tired, and it shows. You can absolutely tell.
Oh yeah.
Teal Mask and Indigo Disc look good. I don't have any like point of reference though for like what the level of quality is going to be.
Yeah, I will say I am tentatively excited for the DLCs for Scarlet Violet. Only because I am dumb when it comes to Pokemon in general, because I have been such a fan of Pokemon for my entire life. So, I mean, I've already got the DLC. I've bought it, so I just have to wait for it to be released to download it. But I am tentatively excited at best because Scarlet Violet did a lot that was good. I will give it that fairness. Scarlet Violet did a lot for the franchise that improved quality of life when it came to raising Pokemon, when it came to finding shinies. The story in Scarlet Violet is very good compared to the previous. They've really built off of what once went really well, and they have gone into a new realm of this works really well, and now we're going to kind of capitalize on the open worldness of it. However, the open world map sucks.
Lay brings up the story was really good. It was. I think the story is probably the best that it has been. We've talked about this, though. I was disappointed in the last bit because it felt like your story was just starting. You know what I mean? Like it felt like they could have done so much more when you. I'm just gonna spoil it because the game's been out for a while.
Yeah, go for it.
When you go into Area Zero, right? When you go into Zone 0, like it's really interesting when you and all your friends team up to go look through the Paradox Pokemon.
Yes.
Like that part was so cool, and like I was genuinely like really awestruck that they were doing that. I was like, is this game really just starting? And no, it was winding down, to be fair.
No, unfortunately that was the end.
Yeah.
Like that's what we wanted. That's what we needed, was like that togetherness of you and these friends that you made along the way. That's what we needed throughout. That's not what we needed in the end game. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Moving parts.
Yeah.
God damn it.
This one's a bitch. I think they've been kind of trying to find out what works for a few years now. They've been kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall
They really
for
have.
quite some
And
time, and
it kind of sucks. Like,
Yeah.
There
the
have
games
been
are all the worse for it, really.
The problem is, like, I really feel like Legends Arceus did it well. Like, if you want an open world Pokemon game, look at what Legends Arceus did. That is how an open world Pokemon game should be. Like, I should not be able to, like, halfway climb a cliff and see the entire map.
Yeah.
There was a point, and I posted this video on my Twitter feed, which no longer exists, where I ran into a Larvitar on my Koraidon, and I fell out of the map.
Yeah.
That should not happen.
No. As their first,
That should not.
as
That
their
should
first,
not
like,
happen in a AAA major.
I mean,
like
no.
the number one selling franchise in video game, in the video game industry. It's Pokemon. That should not happen.
No. And I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah,
But
I was just expanding on my point.
I see. I think that it's hard to. I've said before that we should probably just, as collectively, like, stop pre-ordering games.
Yes.
Because of, like, you should stop pre-purchasing shit. You should stop, like, doing anything before, like. I don't like the idea of giving a company money for something that's not fucking released yet. Like, I don't like, and I get that people like to have it day of, and I get that people get excited about games, and I do miss the excitement that I had for games at one point in my life. But
I agree 100%.
But this is the perfect example. I am so excited for Alan Wake 2 to finally come out, and it looks good. Like, I trust Remedy with it. I'm very happy with it. I'm not pre-ordering that fucking game. Like, there's nothing that could get me to do that. Simply because I do not like the trend that companies have really begun to sink in. Not even begun. Like, have been sinking into for many years.
The trend that's been going on Steam, where it's like, hey, we've got this idea for a game, give us money and we'll make it. I hate that. I fucking hate that.
I'm very sick of that. And
like,
so the only way to really fix that is to stop giving them money before they have a product.
Yeah. Like, if I'm excited for a game, I will buy it, maybe day of release. Maybe I'll buy it a couple of days later because it doesn't fall on the right pay period. I agree 100%. I don't want to spend that money when there's no guarantee of, like, of quality, of putting the work in.
Well, Lay, here's the thing, right? That is partially true. Pre-order sales definitely help with development cost. The main problem is that games are just getting really expensive to make. It's been an issue. It's been an issue for a long time.
It is amazing that games, like AAA games, are still only $60.
It is,
and
we
have been for the last
lucky, honestly.
20 years. Like, Breath of the Wild is the first $70 game that I have bought.
Yeah.
And will it be the last? Probably not.
No, we're in the age of $70 games now.
Yeah,
officially.
Because I am a dum-dum and I like a video game.
I would be surprised if Pikmin 4 isn't $70. We're gonna get to the point now where it's like those $10 if you move 1 billion copies, like, that makes a fucking difference. And so you're recuperating loss at that point by upping, like, price. But, like, no one wants to pay $70. Like, not a lot. Less people want to pay $70 for a game than people who like. And so, and with people having less and less expendable income, and like market fluctuations in general, and it's hard to say. Like, I just don't. I think that companies have become a little reliant on both microtransactions and pre-order purchases as a way to, like, mitigate loss on projects. And so I just don't believe in that anymore.
Companies have become extraordinarily cynical when it comes to their their business models, where it's like, oh, you idiots will pay, $70 for, the latest AAA title, and people still do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of people don't have that kind of income anymore.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, back in the 80s, the NES cost what, $300? In that era's money. That was a ton. Yeah. That's like $1,000 nowadays. It's like $1,200. And I get it. Like, if we're gonna be paying, $70 for video games nowadays, it's always been that price. It's always been that number. But the price has been, going up and up and up and up and up because of inflation.
And enhances in technology and stuff like that. There's other factors, but yeah, I would say mostly it's inflation and especially like AAA stuff. More and more people are starting to work on projects, and you have to pay a lot of people, and livable wages are getting higher and higher.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. Like, if I'm buying a video game, I'm saying thank you to the devs. I'm saying thank you to the marketing team. I'm saying thank you to everybody who, made that game possible. But at the same time, like, $70 is nothing to sneeze at.
It's a lot. I look at that as, like, getting close to $100. Like, that's how I really rationalize it. And so,
like, there's a reason why when you go to the store, something is $3.95 as opposed to $4, because you see that and you're like, oh, that's only $3.
Yeah.
Even though it's actually $4. You there's the perceived value versus the actual value.
Getting into, like, economics and shit now. Anyway, the end point of it all is that, games are getting more and more expensive to make, and there's not going to be a decline in pricing now. Like, once, I think every game company was just waiting for somebody to make it 70 first. Like, I think this has been something that's really been a long time coming. I think someone was just waiting for someone else to pull the trigger. And
was it PlayStation or Xbox that did that?
I think it was PlayStation. I think it was Sony.
Because it absolutely was not Nintendo.
No. And now they're like, oh, well, now we can do that. Like,
yeah.
But, like, they're working on, like, very old hardware now.
Which sucks because,
what's crazy?
The Switch is like 7, almost like 8 years old at this point.
I remember when the Switch came out, I went over to a friend's house on launch day and I tasted, the Switch cartridge and I saw, I was like, oh my god, this game looks freaking good. And
yeah.
And now I'm thinking about it now, I was a completely fucking different person back then.
Oh, 100%.
And like, I'm thinking about how much my life has changed and how much time has passed, and it's like, I was living in a completely different area of the town I'm in. Like, I was living with people, I'm pretty sure, at the time.
Yep.
I had no idea that I was ever going to own one. I'm like, no, there's no way. And then they announced Smash, and I was like, fuck.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Smash was the thing that got me into it. That made me buy a Switch. I think, if I remember correctly.
For me, I think it was Smash for me as well, where it's just like, oh, I'm part of this community that I'm no longer a part of nowadays, and they're playing Smash, and it's like, oh man, I really loved Smash on the Wii U. Maybe I should get this, and then I did it. I was a completely different person like 7 or 8 years ago.
Let's see. When did the Switch launch?
2013? No, 2015.
Switch OLED's $350.
It's a beautiful screen, but there's nothing new about it.
2017.
2017. Wow, I was
So
a little off.
That's 6 years ago.
I was living in an apartment by myself at the time.
I think I was as well.
Yeah, and it is insane that in the last 6 or 7 years there have been 0 hardware upgrades when other consoles have had entirely new generations. Like, we have gone from, like, in the Switch's lifetime, the PS4 to the PS5 and whatever the fuck the Xbox is doing these days. I don't even know.
Okay, let's take a look here. PS4 launched 2013. That seems really like that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. And so the Switch launched
2017.
2017. And so the PS5 launched 2020.
So 7 years after the 4?
Yeah. So we're getting close to like where it definitely should be changing hands now. There's been a lot of like talk about it recently.
Yeah, there are some who speculate that the Switch's successor could come as early as next year. I'm hoping for that.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I firmly believe, and this is like my full-on tinfoil hat moment when it comes to video game consoles.
You want it to outsell the Wii?
No, not that. The number one selling video game console of all time is the PlayStation 2.
You want it to outsell the PS2. I do believe we talked about this.
Yes, and I'm fairly certain we talked about this, where I firmly believe that Nintendo's internal goal is to outsell the PS2 within the Switch's lifetime, and they're extending that in order to make that happen. The Switch is still selling.
Yeah, that is only detrimental to content, though.
It is 100%. It absolutely is, and it sucks.
Because you have shit like, I'm thinking of like games that are getting that got ported to the Switch, and like shit that's getting ported now, and like the difference in years. Like fucking Skyrim got ported to the Switch.
Yeah.
And now like I just the direct we just watched, like,
yep.
There's new shit getting ported all the time, and I'm like, if I was a dev, I think I'd wait at this point, because like also Switch dev kits are notoriously hard to even get.
Yes. The problem is waiting doesn't make you money.
No, and that's true, but I think I'd work on different ports in the meantime, or start a new project. Like, I think that would be my game plan, rather than waiting on a Switch dev kit, or because like if The thing is, once a console successor comes out, it doesn't kill the console. It certainly doesn't fucking help. And
I'll be right back. Keep going.
if you, let's say, because I remember there was a game a long time ago that I kickstarted, and I definitely regret kickstarting it now. I don't even know when was the last time they updated, but it was going to be a Wii U game where one person had the pad, and then it was like a 4X game, but like there were 4 players playing as pieces, and then the person with like the pad was playing a 4X game, and the people with pieces were like playing like an adventure game. But like, but as the 4X player, you're like collecting resources for like this town that you're building, and then all the other players with their Wii remotes are like fighting bad guys and stuff, and like helping out townsfolk. And like, I was like, that concept's really cool. Okay, I'll kickstart this. And then the Switch was announced like very shortly after. And so, and I mean, I wanted the Wii U version, and I think they stopped development on the Wii U version shortly after the Switch got announced, and they were like, alright, let's get Switch dev kits, and like I said, they're notoriously hard to come by. So, I think that's why development really stopped on that. Like, you could really fuck up your whole dev cycle if you commit to one thing and then something else comes along, and then there are people asking questions like, are you going to be deving for this? Are you going to be developing for this? And it sucks, because that's just how the games industry is too. Like, there's not much you could do about it, to be honest. But I think like sticking to your guns is the best way to do it. And I think Vampire Survivors has done a very good job. It's a small scale team to be. This is my example anyway. They're finally releasing on Switch, and they're releasing like co-op too, which I think is. But they're releasing that for everything, and so you're simultaneously developing for like a lot. That's out on a lot of different fucking platforms too now. And like, for those of you who don't really know much about game development, like if you get a fucking SDU, right, for SDK, sorry, for one console, right, there's no guarantee that the shit that you're developing is going to work on another SDK. And it's scary to like commit to something like a bunch of different console ports when you don't really know if you have like a concept. Like, that's why Kickstarter is such a fucking horrible thing, because these people have like concepts. They have like basically just ideas, like, and that's where you come in. You invest all your money on something that might fucking fail, and that, I mean, that's good for like indie stuff, but AAA.
Invest your money in Mighty Number 9.
We don't even need to get into that. That guy was a fucking fraud.
100%.
But
that game sucked. I played it. I played it. I streamed it back when I was still doing that, and I just got progressively drunker the whole time. Mm-hmm. It was a bad night.
There are a few things I'm genuinely okay that I kickstarted. 7 Days to Die I kickstarted. What is that game called? Hard West I kickstarted, and they're coming out with their sequel soon. My name is in that game somewhere.
Nice.
Hard West. I streamed it. I streamed the whole game. I remember. I want to stream it again soon. It's very fun. It's basically just Wild West XCOM. It's really cool.
That's cool.
Yogg Ventures, so excited that I kickstarted that. I'm so happy that game absolutely 100% came out. I will never be happy about that.
Yeah, I will never kickstart another video game.
Nah, me neither. The last one I did was Bloodstained. and I'm
Yeah,
happy I did that one.
I liked Bloodstained. I was happy that I did that. I did not finish the game. I got to I think it's close to endgame, where you're in like the large castle. I don't know.
I never beat it either.
I got to a boss in that I just could not get past. And I was like, alright.
It's hard. It's a hard game.
It is genuinely difficult, and like there were some bosses where like it was difficult to the point where I would get in that zone and I'm just like, okay, I need to beat this. But there were some that were just arduously tough, and I'm like, I don't care. Like the boss of the big castle, after a certain point, I just couldn't beat him. And I decided, you know what? I had my fun with this game. I put in several hours worth. I put in probably what I would consider, a good amount of hours to get my money's worth out of it. And I feel like I got what I wanted out of it. I feel like to kind of go to the back to the direct, I'm really fucking tired of Harvest Moon clones.
I don't mind it. I know a lot of people really do.
I'm sick of it.
I get it.
Because like all those games want to do is copy. They want to capture the same bottled lightning that Stardew Valley did.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to go for that, and they're all failing.
Stardew Valley is like a fucking 1 in a million. It really got everything perfect. And
it really did. And every other like indie dev who's trying to do like a farm, anything farm related, is trying to do just that. And it's not working. We need to find a better game to copy, and not Dark Souls again.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to have the next Souls-like, everyone wants to have the next Stardew-like, and it's like, just make something good. Stop.
I've been like dabbling with the idea of like wanting to dev a game, right? Yeah. I'd want to do something that's similar to Gauntlet, Dark Legacy.
Oh, okay.
My favorite game ever. And I want to I genuinely want to try to do something with that. But like, I don't know if there's a market for that. I don't know if I could properly pull it off. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of doubt. And I get why indie devs would want to do something that's more on bandwagon-y.
Something more safe.
Yeah, it's safe. Like if you market it right, like Lies of P. I'm gonna talk about that for a second because I got to play the demo. It is a very good game. It is Dark Souls 2, but Pinocchio, and no, not Dark Souls 2. Bloodborne 2, but Pinocchio. It's really cool. The art style is fucking great. Like the mechanics are all there from Bloodborne. You know. It is obviously catering to that crowd. It's done exceedingly well. That is also 1 in a million kind of shit. Where it's there's so fucking many. There's a YouTuber called Iron Pineapple who basically searches Souls-like on Steam.
I know. I've watched some of Iron Pineapple stuff.
He's very funny. He's also a very good authority on like what would make a good
is.
And so it's fascinating to hear him talk about like mechanical stuff like that because he is such an authority on that kind of thing.
Yes.
And the way he talks about like certain games, it's like this has potential. Like he's very like honest and genuine about like wanting to see good games get made. And you could tell he just likes video games, and But like he's done like 20 parts of this fucking series. He does like 10 games an episode, and it's like there's so fucking many. Like, I don't know, but I get why indie devs would want to do something like that, because it's just it's easier to do something that you know is gonna like move
It's safe.
product.
It's safe,
Yeah.
and that's the unfortunate part, because like people don't want the consumer does not necessarily want safe when it comes to a video game, but a developer knows that safe is what sells.
I mean, I don't claim to be an expert on
I am absolutely not either.
on like the economic complexities of game development or game release. You know, I don't claim to know anything about that, but what I do know is what I like and
what works.
and I've seen what shit works, and I know what makes a good game, and I know, you know, but it's hard to like parse your ambition with what is possible, you know.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of companies like. If I want to go into specifics, there's a company called Splash Damage that was basically like producing a game called Brink when I was in high school, and I was like, wow, this is Bethesda produced game. It wasn't produced by Bethesda; it was published by Bethesda, and I didn't know the difference at the time. But I was like, man, this can't be bad. I've played Oblivion. I've played Skyrim. Well, I didn't play Skyrim yet, I don't think. But,
Yeah.
I was like,
Skyrim came out 12 years ago.
Yeah, I know. That's when I graduated high school.
Fucked up.
But I was like, I played Oblivion. I love Oblivion. I played Fallout. I love Fallout. I love New Vegas. It's a good game.
I love New Vegas. Congratulations on your transition.
And my friend my friend pulled me aside. He's like, it's too big to fail. There's no way this can go tits up. I was like, you're absolutely right, friend. There's no way this could go tits upward.
The tits cannot go up on this.
Yeah, they couldn't possibly, and they did.
Tits down.
Because Splash Damage was a development team that had not proven themselves, and I think Bethesda allowed a ton of money, and now Brink is free on Steam, and it's not very good, and there are no players. But I paid full price for that. I pre-ordered it, and I was like, wow, this game sucks. Because it just wasn't what I was expecting. I remembered I was like following the development on it and stuff very closely, and there was lines in the sand, honestly. I wrote a whole review on my Facebook many
Line
years
must
ago.
be drawn here. This far, no farther.
But that is since now gone because I don't have a Facebook anymore.
Hell yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have a Facebook anymore.
Me too.
It is
No matter how many
fucking
times my mother decides to go, well, you're not on the Facebooks, but... And then she tells me something that she saw on Facebook. It's like, I don't care, Mom. Love you, but...
I tried... Okay, so I deleted my Facebook. This is a good story, actually. I deleted my Facebook a number of years ago, and I've just been happier since.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember my mom, like, around when this happened, my mom was like, okay, you need to add your grandma on Facebook. I was like, no.
I don't, actually.
I just said no, because, like, even if I had one, I wasn't going to. But she's like, Russ, you need to do it. I was like, I don't have a Facebook anymore. And then she looked at me like she wanted me to make a new one. And I was like, you cannot make me do that. Like, I told her, I was like, I am not going to make a new Facebook just to add grandma, a person I don't even fucking like. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that.
So anyway, you're setting up your Facebook profile.
I had made one like a few years after that incident.
Okay.
For reasons I won't get into. It's extremely selfish reasons.
Sure.
But I deleted it the day I made it because I was like, now I remember why I left. and like it all clicked, and I was like, all right, this won't happen again. But like the closeness I felt with like people I never fucking spoke to and had no desire to, I was like, man, I miss that. But yeah, delete your fucking Facebook, guys.
Get rid of that shit. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't need your data.
I don't mind if you keep your Twitter.
Spotify doesn't need that shit.
If you curate your Twitter properly, it's fine. Just don't give money for like. You know what? You know what sucks.
Bros.
You know what sucks, right? I recently have been getting like retweets and likes by like blue check marks, and normally like when I was, man, a few years back, if you would have told me that, I would be like, wow, really? I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, especially because all those people with the check marks, they're paying for those.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this MF paid for Twitter.
Stupid idiot. It does the same thing if you don't pay for it. Stupid. Do you know that, right? Stupid.
Yep.
You just wanted to be able to flop your dick on the table and have someone give a shit. You just
wanted to make Elon Musk somehow acknowledge you, and he won't anyway because you're not a billionaire. Who cares? You're not a billionaire. You won't be one. Elon Musk doesn't give a shit that you exist. Moving on.
Okay, I'm done for tonight. I think I'm good. We can finish this next week or whenever we play next.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. This one is a long one.
This one's a big one. But yeah, we're most of the way done.
Most of the way. We're 73%. That's over half.
Yeah. Wow. That was...
Damn. I feel like it went quick.
It did. That's 2 hours.
Damn.
I'm trying to think here. Oh! Everyone, please pay attention.
I am listening.
I just got a text from CJ. It says, if I did drag, I think my name would be Hurricane Katrina.
That fucking rules.
I love you, bud.
That rules.
I
need
to... Anyway, this week... is Trouble in Terrorist Town on Saturday. If you guys would like to join in, or if you'd like to just watch, we're starting at 8 p.m. It's going to be a very, very fun one and a very, very hectic one. Please tune in if you can.
You know what? Count my ass in.
Ooh.
I'm gonna join in. I have not played TTT in a long time, and I remember that game fondly.
We're gonna have custom roles. We're gonna have.
Oh God, I need to actually reinstall Gary's
mod. We're gonna have custom items and stuff.
I haven't played Gary's mod. I haven't opened Gary's mod in 5.5 years.
Wow. The weekend after, the 8th of July. I'll just go through all of July.
Yeah.
The 8th of July, Wind Waker Randomizer. It might be a 12-hour stream. It might not be. Who knows? It's gonna be long, no matter what. We're gonna start early for sure. I'm gonna try to do the whole thing. July board game night is the 15th, the following week. If you guys want to play board games, July board game night is the 15th. Then the 22nd, I will not be here. I will be out of town, so there will be no stream on the 22nd. And then finally, on the 29th of July, we will start our D&D campaign here. It's basically the beginning is written. We are just about fully prepared. We are waiting for some stream art to be done, and that is the only thing that we are waiting on for that. So, be sure to tune in on the 29th for the start of D&D. Anyway, that is all of July, and that is the end of our time here. We are all set. We are all done. I'm going to head to bed now because I'm tired.
Okay.
A little sleepy. Thank you guys for watching. it has been a fun little stream, and I always have a great time playing clean video game with my friend Spader. Spader, thank you so much for joining as always.
Wow. Thank you, Russ, for having me.
I'm basically buying time until I finish up my end screen. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on the other side of tomorrow. Good night.
Come on down to the other side.
Come on down to the butter barn.